Hey there, welcome back. Okay, so what we're doing, we thought we'd just show you what we got going on today. So this is Hügel 1, our Hügelkultur bed that I've talked about on other videos. But what we're doing is making room for more rosemary plants. These two rosemary plants, these are some of my favorite perennial, evergreen, fumigants, confuse and repels pests in my garden. I like the culinary sage, I like all of the herbs, the aromatic herbs. But what happened was, so there was these two here, then there was one here in this salvia, which I also really love, but I had a little rosemary plant right there, and these things, when they get so big, it just choked them completely out. But we'd like to have more salvia, but in other part of the garden. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the salvia up, and then we're gonna go take it over to the greenhouse, and we're going to just divide it up and make a lot more salvia plants out of it. We may give some away, we may sell some, but I can make probably, I figured it up, maybe about 40 or 50 plants with that. But we just went over to the compost pile and grabbed some, I don't know why it's hard to do this backwards, right there. We grabbed a bunch of compost because we're gonna need that to pot it up. So we got a lot going on today. We're gonna be pulling out these salvia plants and we're gonna pot some more up, and we thought we'd just show you how to do that and why we're doing that. These are gonna get real big and bushy and beautiful, and the butterflies love it, the hummingbirds love it, the bees love it. We love it too, but just not right here. But instead of just taking it out and throwing it away, we're gonna make more and do something with it. We're not sure really, but so we're gonna plant 2 more rosemary plants, one right here and one right here. So Chrissy is just pulling that out, trying to get as much of the root as possible. Okay, Chrissy, let's go ahead and take that one and this one and that one. That way it doesn't crowd out our new rosemary plants that we're about to put in. Okay, we have our little path right here with the stones, and there's one more salvia plant, and these things just spread like crazy, which is fine with me because I love them, but I don't want it crowding out this path. So I think we're gonna take out these salvia right here as well. But don't worry, we got plenty more. We got that one right there, we've got that one right there, and some more over here, and some more over there. So I really like how we have this one right here, and we have this one right here. It's kind of outlining the path that goes up in there, and the grandkids love to go up in there.
What about those?
This is too close to the path because it's going to get big and bushy. It's going to get about 3 to 4 foot wide, so we need to take these 2 out as well. And I'm telling you, I mean, these little seeds that grow on here, they'll just drop their seed and they just multiply like crazy. One of the easiest and most beautiful plants I have in my garden. Not edible. This is not culinary sage. This is like blue bitter salvia. So you can see I'm in different clothes. This is the next day because I brought all this salvia back. This is what we pulled out, and I'm potting it up. I did a whole bunch of it yesterday, and it wasn't 40 plants. It was like 83 plants or something, and I still have a wheelbarrow full of the salvia plants. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I do this root division, and basically that's what this is. It's by root division. There's a whole lot of ways to propagate. You can do it by seed, you can do it by cuttings, you can do a whole lot of ways, but this is root division. Okay. Basically, I'm just looking for a break, someplace where it can pull apart. Here's one right here that has the roots on it. It has a little bit of roots, and it has this old dried up woody growth. I'm just going to clip that off. Just don't need it. No use of wasting any energy on that. And then I can pot it up either in one of these big pots or these little pots. And I'm just using straight compost. I didn't sift it or anything. I'm gonna use, for this one, I'm gonna use the smaller one. I am gonna be potting these up, but right now my focus is on trying to conserve some compost because I have a lot of plants here. I have, oh gosh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna end up with like 200 plants. So don't judge me. Now, this one right here has a much more like complicated root going on here. And so I am gonna put it in one of these because it's got a long, hard, woody taproot on it. So I am just going to pot this up in a longer one, because if I potted it up in the shorter one, you could see those roots would go down. Now I could trim off that root a little bit, but I'm just going to put that in there. There's an eggshell. It didn't go down all the way. And just gonna cover that up. And that is the reason why I have these bigger containers and these smaller containers. For the purpose of doing this kind of propagation, I'm just using straight compost. I'm not sifting it. I'm not adding any perlite or vermiculite or any peat moss or anything like that. I'm using straight compost, okay? The compost that I made here, homemade compost. So that is how I'm doing that. I have a lot more to go. So again, this is not for an art contest or anything like that. This is just for me, so I know how much space I have to work with. So I was showing you the paths, which is some rock stepping stones. It kind of goes right through the middle. I don't think there's that many. I wish there was that many. I need to put some more in. But this is the path. I always like to give myself a path so I can harvest. So I can harvest from this edge, or I can walk through here. And really the grandkids love to walk through here. So now the perennials that I have in here is rosemary. And here is the rosemary that I already have. Here's some rosemary that I already have. Here's some rosemary that I'm going to plant right here. Let's just make that a little bit bigger because it's going to get bigger. And then another one right there. So I can see, I need to space that out a little bit more. I'm just gonna do it more like that. Again, it's not being turned in for a grade. That's rosemary, rosemary, rosemary. It goes in the F category. That's in the establishment niche. It's repels and confuses pests. So I am going to put that as an F. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. This is where I'm planning on more rosemary. So I have 2 more plants. And I know that I need to either make some more by doing cuttings or layering or something from the rosemary I already have, the parent material I already have, or I can go buy 2 more rosemary plants, okay? So then I also know that it's framing. I have a salvia plant, which is gonna get big, y'all. It's gonna be really big. And then I have one right here. So it's gonna grow from basically right here. The salvia plants, this is what I'm potting up today. And it's kind of outlining it. But I also have 2 salvia plants here. And these are perennials, so I'm gonna say salvia, okay? And salvia is in the attracts beneficial insects, and I just had that as a B. So again, I wish this was a red pen, but this is a B. So I know that I have ticked off that I have something that's going to attract beneficial insects. I have something that's going to repel and confuse pests. Now, what this is helping me see is if I want to do a little food forest here in my Hugelkultur bed, what are some of the things that are possibly missing. Okay. I also have California poppies all through here, and instead of doing little bitty circles like these stepping stones, I'm just going to do a big, because it's really kind of right around the border. They kind of fall over, but this is what you see from the house, from the road, when you walk up onto this little establishment guild, Hügel 1, you see a pop of color here. You see California poppies. More nitrogen fixers in here. So that's a good place for me to plant beans or peanuts. I'm looking for a place that I can plant more peanuts. I had this one little area the last couple of years where I planted peanuts. Well, actually, I planted them 1 year and they just keep coming back because I always forget to pull a peanut out. Or one peanut gets stuck down in there and it doesn't pull out with the rest of them. But I really want to plant more peanuts in and around all of my edible landscapes, and peanuts are a legume. So I could do more edamame here. I could do beans. I could do bush beans. And then on this side, I need to figure out what I'm going to do here. Do I want to do more flowers? This is really kind of up against a fence. There's a fence right here. Let me just go ahead and put that in there. And I do have a little bit of a walkway right here, and I'm the only one who really sees that end. So, but the cool thing about it is there's a lot of trees here, a lot of really big established trees. And this is, now, again, we want to put, this is north, and this is the southern exposure here. So the sun is coming up over these trees. Well, these trees kind of block it out. So if I have something that I want to get partial shade or dappled shade, this is a good place to put something like lettuce, spinach, some of the things that when it starts to warm up, it's really kind of protected from an overstory, okay? So now, I'm always also trying to think about what are the more perennials that I can introduce in here. I think I might want to put more strawberries, might be something really good to put in this area. I know a lot of people say strawberries need full sun, but in the wild, strawberries grow in an understory position. So at the same time that I'm doing things like propagating or using the parent material that I already have to make more plants, I'm also thinking about where can I put, you know, like I'm making room for something else. What can I put in there? Now that I'm actually talking about it and thinking about it, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that rosemary be like an Allee, is what the French call it. It's a gardening term. But basically, it's going to be a wall on both sides, kind of like a hallway. And when I walk down the path, I'm going to feel like I'm in this little secret garden. And I think that's really one of the reasons why the kids love it. So my grandkids love it so much. It's like, and the steps give the indication, you're welcome, come on in. And so I'm not really sure that I want to put that bok choy right there by the stepping stones because, you know, I don't want to yell at the grandkids and say, hey, don't step on my plants. You know, it's an invitation to come in. I don't want it to be a false invitation, right? So I think I'm going to put the bok choy really more where it's protected. So I'll be putting it maybe in here, maybe more over here. And I may do it like a border. I may do it like a drift. But again, it's kind of like the last video that I did with the onions. It's very short-lived because it's a cool weather crop and it's only going to be around for a few months. So once it grows, it's going to come out, something else is going to go in. So, but I think that's going to do it for this one. That was a lot of information. In the meantime, if you want to know more, you can just go look up Ecological Succession. Actually, I did a video when I first started doing YouTube, which was years ago. I had no idea what I was doing. I was nervous, but I did a video on ecological succession. The information is correct, but I'm a little bit more sounding like a robot or awkward or shy or not really knowing what I'm doing. But you can go and look at that video. But basically, it's all the layers of the forest and how nature does everything naturally and how that's basically how I do it. That's why I don't spray. That's why I don't need to spray. I don't need to spray pesticides, fungicides, herbicides, or any of the other sides. Is because I do it the way that God does it. I do it the way that nature does it. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, bye for now.